Ukraine. Hello, welcome everybody. Today we want to speak about the brand of translation field. What do we do with it? And the basis of our research was a surveying from 743 respondents. We wanted to ask the opinions from all the participants. So we asked students, freelancers, representatives of agencies, PMs, and business owners. But first of all, we would like to get to know each other better. My name is Olenna Glovinska. I studied to be an interpreter and translator, and I was a freelancer translator. Right after the university, I started working in the localization department in the translation agency, and later I became the head of it. Not only am I this translator, but I also manage some. I was able to get to know the translation field in many spheres. My name is Anastasia Struk. As Ola mentioned, all my life that I remember, I've been in this field. Actually, my choice had been made, and I don't feel sorry about it. I and Olenna, we have this opportunity to speak to people who are experienced, who have been in this industry for a long time, both with the students and the school children who want and aspire to be translators. So people, ideas who are in the business for many years are different from those who want to enter this business. So I would like to ask a question. What associations do you have with the translation industry? On the floor, probably somebody. Okay, then. We had prepared something, and we asked the same question from in our survey, and they answered a little bit more than you. So these are the questions: technologies, versatility, inspiration. It's all about money. Also, the one that we like, it's Linguistic Center, the name of our company. But not everything was that positive. A lot of people said about some negative associations. Our respondents sometimes speak about this field that not being cool, about no social benefits, no room to develop, and probably a lot of people understand why such associations evolve. And we split our categories up to 25 years old, people who do not have that experience, and more than 25 years old that know about the industry a little bit more. And it happened so after the analysis that 62% of the people after 25 years old they said positively about the industry. At the same time, people before 25 years old were not that positively minded. So what's wrong and what has to be done? We found out, following the results of our survey, that many students asked a question about whether they made the right choice or not. So they, a lot of them speak about being in different, about recognition, about being in different translation associations. So some kind of self-esteem, and nobody speaks about going further steps on the career. Also, the development of MT and neurological technology also probably hinders the development of this, and a lot of school children don't want to go further and enter into this profession. And also the ratio between the efforts made and the income taken cannot be comparable. For example, to compare with the IT people, the translators have to invest more efforts. And education of translators is a different thing. A lot of times it is more theoretical than practical. And very often that theoretical knowledge cannot be applied well in practice. And unfortunately, many teachers at the chairs of translation, they are theoreticians. They are not practical people, but there are not enough workshops where the translation are willing to share their classes, their knowledge. We still don't have enough of those. And also a lot of translators speak about invisibility. We all want to be recognized, to be seen. But if you are a translator and you write translation, not many people see you. And a lot of people are not connected with, who are not connected with the translation industry. They just look at the translator as an instrument. Really, it's a person who studied a lot. And
so if we take it all together, the situation with the translation industry is as follows from our point of view. The translator's profession is not so trendy as it used to be before. A translator is a person who knows the language. That was the previous vision. Nowadays, lots of people who are not even in the translation industry can do the same. Many conferences and while communicating with the business owners, I've heard that it is quite a problem, a real problem, to involve people into this sphere. People keep leaving the company, rather they are dissatisfied with the wages or with the opportunities. Of course, the quality also is damaged in the situation. Due to the fact there are no certain standards which would distinguish which translation is appropriate, which is not, the notion of quality is quite vague. Of course, this situation cannot influence the attitude to the translations. Not everything is so bad, because we can change ourselves, all those negative tendencies. If we take the bull by the horns, what can we suggest? We can suggest such 3 strategies. The first strategy is to recognize the changes. We understand that globalization doesn't, and it is an endless process. The companies want to come into the international market, not only national. The necessity for translation is only increasing with this situation. We should understand that translation industry is changing and is transformed due to the changes which are in the market. On the margin of the translation and other industries, there are different technologies, different things appear. If a person doesn't like purely the translation, he or she can find something on the margin. For example, such a notion as localization. A lot of professionals already know what localization means, but unfortunately students and children, they somehow do not understand, they still haven't come across this notion. Localization is a kind of interesting and versatile notion. It may include lots of topicalities, video games, and a lot of other things. Another thing which is developed is the transcreation of the ads, which is very popular in any market, necessary for people to buy different services or goods. They need the ads, they need the commercials. If somebody is dealing with the transcreation of the ads, he or she may make use of his knowledge of translation, knowledge of market, etc. Video translation is another sphere which is widely developed nowadays, especially within the period of the quarantine. We have lots of lessons, workshops in the world which are to be translated. The video content has been prevailing in the internet for quite a while. That's why we need the subtitling, audio-visual translation. A very interesting notion is a voice search. It is considered that within the nearest time, all the searches in the internet will not be printed, but the voice searches. Respectfully, the companies need the linguists who can predict what people might be talking, what people might say, because things which we tell, which we talk, they might be quite different from what we are writing. And the necessity for the specialists who are able to analyze the samples of the voice, samples from the users, which are to be translated, summarized, made different notations in order to create a database with the technologies of voice recognition and to make the improvement in satisfying the needs of the users. Generally, those were the examples, just a couple of examples of those perspectives of translation in the future, which are quite interesting but not very well known to everybody. What we had to do, we just have to figure out things about them, information about them, and follow this situation. Another strategy is very important. It's a personal branding. Everybody is talking about, it's much spoken about. We have just to think how important it is, because every industry includes humans, includes people who are the elements of this industry. Of course, in translation industry, people are most likely introverts, but we have to realize that the world has changed. We have heard a nice report from Sabina, who was telling us in her speech about it. If you are even a very mighty, a very professional specialist in the industry, what's the point if nobody knows about you? The things you can do, you have to make your page, your internet page, and make people know about you. Partnership, that is also an example which works, which means that there are people who know something that you might not even know about, and working together you can create a high-quality product. Now I want to demonstrate you our most favorite example of partnership, which was built up taking into account all those three strategies we have mentioned today. We applied it while preparing the Translators contest Lviv European.
там потім переможники, ми вручаємо, і все класно, і гарно. Отож, що ми хотіли сказати?
So what we wanted to tell, translation is really cool, interesting. What we all have to do is to realize that we have to deliver the thought to the young generation of the industry which are just trying to enter into it. Take care, stay safe, because we are really worth it. Thank you, girls, for such an inspiring speech, very optimistic. It's really great that the representatives of young generation are ambassadors of our industry. Hooray, we have the future. Any questions?
Дуже дякую.
Thank you for your speech. It's very clear. I could clearly understand what are the visions from the youth on the industry, translation industry, and I've heard a lot of them, a lot of those views. As far as I belong to them, I'm one of the young representatives of translation industry. So the question is as follows. What do you think are the most perspective trends in the development as the organizers of the translation contest? What think are the perspectives? We have limitless perspective. Thank you for the question. Thank you for winning in the contest. What we really want to do is to make the contest of the ministry level for everybody to understand the importance of the contest on the governmental level. We want the school children to influence their entering the educational establishments, especially those who win in the contest. So we want to develop the idea. We want the information about the contest to go to different parts of Ukraine. I was very happy to see the contestants from different parts of Ukraine. So my aim is to encourage a great number of young generation, not to discourage them, but to show them everything faithfully. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of young representatives here. There might have been more. For me, the real representatives of the industry are the real generations. We can see what the translation world in Ukraine is. So for me, the best thing we can do is to encourage the young generation into the industry. All those who want to support us, we appreciate it. Thank you, girls. You have a very noble aim. Good luck to you. Any questions? Thank you, girls.
На цьому наша сьогоднішня програма на потоці мистецтво перекладу завершена.
The program for today's Art of Translation is over. See you tomorrow. Have a good evening.